This green branch here is also depicted in this ancient rock art, and it is actually a plasma instability that we call the Peratt instability, after Tony Peratt reproduced it in his Los Alamos laboratory. And this was seen by all. And the survivors documented it and worshipped it. And this sacred Egyptian scarab is the same as the Squatter Man, this plasma, the Stickman petroglyphs that are depicted and recorded all around the world from the time when they saw the tree of life, the mountain of God, and the winged disc in the sky. Now, this Old Testament book of Isaiah, it's widely accepted that this prophet did not write the entire book of Isaiah. And I believe that it is a collection of more ancient texts that are actually memories and a belief that this will happen again. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established. This is the original mountain of the Lord's temple. This temple of the Lord, when they worshipped the Most High. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious. This is the branch of the Lord, this Peratt instability. In that day the Lord will punish with his sword, his fierce, great, and powerful sword, Leviathan, the gliding serpent, Leviathan, the coiling serpent. He will slay the monster of the sea. Did you know that God's sword is a coiling serpent? You can see these Peratt instabilities with the serpent of the Lord. And it must have been completely frightful. And they must have been filled with terror as they watched this war in heaven play out. This is the morphing mountain of the Lord. And the war in heaven, Leviathan. And it certainly appeared to be an angel of the Lord, raining down judgment and destruction. Again, the Peratt instability. Just as the ancient coffin texts state, I am the centipede on the day of the centipede, on the day of slaughter. My heart falters, fear makes me tremble. The twilight I longed for has become a horror to me. And I believe this twilight he's talking about is the twilight that existed under the polar configuration of our early solar system. The Lord is going to lay waste the earth and devastate it. He will ruin its face and scatter its inhabitants. Earth's inhabitants are burned up, and very few are left. Signs and wonders, an outstretched arm, a mighty hand. Your hand is lifted high. You punished them and brought them to ruin. You wiped out all memory of them. Like a hailstorm and a destructive wind, like a driving rain and a flooding downpour. He will come with thunder and earthquake and great noise and windstorm and tempest and flames of a devouring fire. Dense clouds of smoke, consuming fire. He shakes the nations, the mountain of the Lord, coming down with raging anger and consuming fire. And this is from Immanuel Velikovsky's book, Worlds in Collision. The death of Romulus occurred when, according to Plutarch, suddenly strange and unaccountable disorders with incredible changes filled the air. The light of the sun failed, and night came down upon them, not with peace and quiet, but with awful peals of thunder and furious blasts. And amidst the storm, Romulus disappeared. Ovid's description of the phenomena on the day of Romulus's death is this: both the poles shook, and Atlas shifted the burden of the sky. The sun vanished, and rising clouds obscured the heaven. The sky was riven by shooting flames. The people fled, and the king, upon his father's steed, soared to the stars. Huitzilopochtli had, like Mars and Odin, the spear or a bow in his right hand, and in the left, sometimes a bundle of arrows, sometimes a round white shield. This morphing plasma, this mountain of God, the coiled serpent of the Lord. This painting by an unknown artist depicting the 144,000 from Revelation 7. And when I see this, I see the polar configuration, the mountain of God, the stickman form. And there must be some connection to the 144,000 of the Mayan calendar, this astrotheology. This Leviathan, the coiling serpent of the sword of the Lord. Again, the origin of the feathers of the god Ma'at. The trident of Lucifer, Shiva, Poseidon, and Zeus. And have a look at Solomon plagiarizing the instruction of Amenemope, this older work of literature from Egypt. And they were certainly fearful of more massive hailstones raining down. The polar configuration, the mountain of God, the Mayan one-legged snake god destroying the earth, the squatter man, the feathers of Ma'at, the serpent, the winged disc, the polar configuration, the mountain of God, the squatter man, the feathers of Ma'at, the bull of heaven, and these sun loops that we see, is it possible that this phenomenon occurred on the earth during this event? And if you witnessed this, how would you depict it? Maybe something like this. The beast rising out of the sea, destroyed by the coiling serpent sword of the Lord. This is from the YouTube channel Skinny Medic. It's actually a very cool channel. He's got the winged disc on his shirt and his helmet. These symbols are all around us, but we don't know their origins. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.